Good morning!
I'm your radio teacher,
I am your science buddy.
and I'll give you an exciting lesson that you'll surely enjoy.
Sci Talks Radio. Education must continue.
Learning is a great avenue.
No one will be left behind. With new normal comes new learning.
New method, new way of understanding.
Keep on learning.
Keep on achieving.
There's no way of hindering.
Enriching one's dream.
This is Sci Talks Radio,
your number one source of science education.
Conveying a half an hour of quality scientific teaching on air.
This is Sci Talks Radio.
A blessed day to you, dear young scientists.
Oh, yeah!
How are you today? You're listening to another episode of DepEd School on Air for Grade 6, where learning science knows no end.
Oh, yeah!
I'm your radio teacher, Ma'am Merlin Macni-Paguyo from Schools Division of Isabela, your partner in exploring the world of science.
Wow!
Before we start, make sure that you have already eaten your meal or snack.
Oh, yeah!
Remember, full stomach increases your energy and ability to pay attention in our discussion.
Wow!
Also, find a spot at your home where you can clearly hear our broadcast. Are you excited to learn about our new lesson today? Great! Join me as we deal with fun and exciting science learning experience. Before we begin our new lesson, may I know if you can still remember our previous lesson about homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures? What's the difference between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture? You are absolutely correct. Homogeneous mixture mix together, while heterogeneous do not. It's good to know that you can still recall the difference between the two. We also learned about colloids and its characteristics. Colloids, as we mentioned, are solid or liquid dispersed uniformly throughout a gas, liquid, or solid. Best examples are gelatin, milk, mayonnaise, yummy ice cream, margarine, smoke, toothpaste, smog, and many more. Moving on, I want you to grab your science journal and let us check your answers in your assessment found on page 9 and 10 of your previous module. Let's see how much have you acquired from the previous topic. Do you have with you your science journal already? Okay, let's start. I will read to you the correct answer in each item, and I want you to check your answers honestly. Give me a yes if I can expect that from you, dear pupils.
Oh, yeah!
I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah!
All right. For number 1, letter A, mayonnaise. For number 2, correct, letter A, Tyndall effect. For the third item, you got it right, letter B, smoke. Fourth, you're correct, letter A, dispersing medium. Number 5, very good, letter A, because settling cannot separate the components of homogenized milk. Let's see if you can get this next item correctly. Number 6 is letter A, foam. You're doing well, huh? For number 7, letter A. The colloid particles are larger. How about number 8? The correct answer is letter A. True. Let's have number 9. What's your answer? Amazing! It's letter A. Aerosol. For the last item, number 10, you got it right again. Letter B. Emulsion. You may now count your correct answers. I suppose many of you got high scores. If you got a perfect score, say, amazing. If you scored 9 to 8, say, I did it great. If you got 7 to 6, say, I made it. And if you got 5 and below, say, I will do better next time. Now, get ready, for we are about to talk about our lesson on suspensions and its characteristics after this short break.
Mare, narinig mo na ba ang tungkol sa online distance learning ng DepEd? Ano ba ito? Ay oo, Mare! Ang online distance learning ay isang pamamaraan kung saan maihahatid ng mga guro ang kaalaman para sa mga anak natin sa tulong ng teknolohiya gaya ng internet, laptop, computer, at cellphone. Ganun ba, Mare? Oo, Mare. Hindi magkakasama at magkakaharap ang mga estudyante at mga guro. Maaaring matuto ang mga bata sa pamamagitan ng online na pagkatuto. Isang mensahe mula sa kagawaran ng edukasyon at ng himpilang ito.
And I'm back! I'm your teacher, Ma'am Merlin. As mentioned before the break, we will talk about suspensions and its characteristics. After listening to this episode, you are expected to define and describe the appearance and uses of suspensions. So now, sit back, listen carefully, and let's start our new lesson. Children, I have a question. When you put some flour in a glass of water and stir it, what do you think will happen? Yes, you're right. Flour will not dissolve entirely in a water, but it will settle down when left undisturbed. Who among you love to eat lumpia or lumpiang gulay or siomai? It's yummy. I suddenly felt hungry. Anyway, what sauce do you usually prefer? Have you tried dipping it on vinegar sauce with chopped garlic and chili? It's delicious, right? How about a sauce with calamansi, soy, and a bit of chili? We really love to have a variety of sauce to make our food extra tasty and flavorful. This time, let's now proceed to our main topic. Just relax and listen to me attentively. Is that clear? Good! Particles in the surroundings or environment that suspend in the air and water affect the characteristics of some substances combined with it. For example, let's go back to our sauce a while ago. The mixture of vinegar and chopped garlic plus chili. Can you identify the components in the mixture? Which is garlic? Which is chili? And which is vinegar? Yes! Another example. Think again of a glass of water and some flour. If you are to pour the water in the flour and stir it, will it dissolve or not? Correct. As we have mentioned earlier, the flour will not dissolve entirely in water, but it will settle down when left undisturbed. So what does it mean? Particles of flour will be seen by the naked eye as it makes the water cloudy. At first, the particles of flour scattered throughout the liquid, but after standing for some time, the particles separate. The heavier ones settle at the bottom, and the lighter ones remain at the top. Same is true when we mix an oil and a ketchup. It will separate after some time. We can notice that the oil stays on top while the ketchup settles down. Also, with our sauce, which may be a siomai sauce or a barbecue sauce, the mixture is then called a suspension. Do you get it, class? Very good. You are really listening attentively. Everybody say suspension. Let's spell suspension. Suspension. S-U-S-P-E-N-S-I-O-N. Suspension is a mixture different with colloid and solution. It is a kind of mixture wherein combined particles are visible and can be seen by our naked eyes. These are characteristics of suspension. First, it makes the water cloudy when combined. Second, particles are visible or identifiable. And third, settle down and or stay on top, especially when it is undisturbed. Can you identify the uses of suspension? You're right. Suspension can be used as medicine. For example, a mixture of tea leaves in a hot water. We all know that tea is good, for it cleanses our body. Antibiotic medicines can also be in a form of suspension. When we prepare our food and beverages, these are also examples of suspension. When we build our houses, water, cement, and gravel are mixed together. And the list of examples of suspension in our daily life continues. I'm sure you have learned something new today. And to sum up our discussion, what is a suspension again? You're right. Suspension is a kind of mixture wherein combined particles are visible and can be seen by our naked eyes. What are the characteristics of a suspension? Correct. Suspension have particles scattered throughout the liquid, but after standing for some time, the particles separate. How about its characteristics? Very good. Suspension makes the water cloudy. Combined particles are visible or identifiable. Mixtures settle down and or stay on top when undisturbed. Get ready! Because in a short while, we shall be having a quick assessment after this break. Don't go away!
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you! Ngayon ba ang kaarawan mo? Hindi. Hinuhugasan ko lamang ng mabuti ang aking kamay. Sabi ng DOH, 2 happy birthday songs daw upang makaiwas tayo sa COVID-19. Wow, ang galing naman! Simula ngayon, maghuhugas na ako ng kamay habang umaawit ng happy birthday. Ang inyong kalinisan at disiplina ang magliligtas sa inyo. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, DepEd at ng himpilang ito.
And I'm back! It's me, Teacher Merlin. Now that we are done with our discussion for today, let's have an activity. Are you ready? Great! Let's start then. Refer to your module and turn it on page 6. Before I will give you a short quiz, let us first have an enrichment activity. You're going to identify the suspension and write it on your notebook. First, gravel and water. Second, salt and water. Third, soil and water. Fourth, tea leaves and hot water. Fifth, vinegar and soy sauce. Sixth, oil and water. And lastly, rice grain and water. Are you done, kids? Let's check your answers for activity A. So what are the examples of suspensions? We have first, gravel and water. Next, soil and water. Another example is tea leaves and hot water. Oil and water is also an example of suspension. And lastly, rice grain and water. Who got it all correct? Good job! It is really nice that you're learning. So now, let us proceed to assessment on page 9 of your module. I will read the question and then write your answer on your quiz form. Did you get me? Good! Let's start. Number 1. What kind of mixture is formed when larger particles settle out when left undisturbed? A. Colloid. B. Suspension. C. Solution. Or D. Solvent. Number 2. What kind of mixture is formed when oil is mixed with water? Letter A. Solution. Letter B. Water. Letter C. Colloids. Or letter D. Suspension. Number 3. Which of the following mixtures is not an example of suspension? Letter A. Salt and water. Letter B. Oil and water. Letter C. Sand and water. Or letter D. Chalk and water. Number 4. How does suspension appear? Letter A. It appears clear. Letter B. It appears cloudy. Letter C. It appears messy. Or letter D. None of the above. And number 5. Which of the following statements do not describe a suspension? Letter A. Suspensions are larger particles visible to the naked eye. Letter B. Suspensions are particles that settle out when left undisturbed. Letter C. Mixture of soil and water is an example of suspension. And letter D. Suspensions are homogeneous mixture and invisible to the naked eye. Are you done? Congratulations for doing well, kids. I hope you will all get high scores. We will check your answers on our next session. Don't forget to submit your quiz form. I am sure you've learned a lot today. Meanwhile, as part of mastering the competency, you're going to play. You may borrow your mommy's phone and make a vlog. But if you don't have it, just perform our simple experiment on making a suspension. But remember, you must be very careful in performing the activity. Take extra care in pouring hot water and handling the glass. You may ask your ate and kuya for assistance in performing the experiment. I'm sure it will be more fun having them. Are you excited? Clap your hands if you are. Another activity that you will complete at home is numbers 6 to 10 on page 10 of your module. Enjoy your experiment, kids! So let's call it a day. I hope you understood well our discussion. Our next lesson is about separating mixture through filtering and sieving. Make sure to tune in here at School on Air every day. On behalf of the writer of this episode, Ma'am Mary Ann R. Palma, and the SDO Isabela production team, our deepest gratitude to all of you. Till next time, kids! I'm your science teacher for the day, Ma'am Merlin Macni Paguyo. Keep on learning, keep on achieving. Goodbye! Keep safe!
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!